So team, first of all, very good evening. Welcome to the InfosecTrain. And team, today we are here to discuss about AWS Security Specialty. And team, like before going forward, I would just like to give you a brief introduction about my profile. My name is Ayush and I will be an instructor for this webinar. And about my IT experience team, I have been working in the industry for the last 8+ years on various domains. I've started my career as a mainframe developer. Then onwards, I started working in a cloud and more specifically, I'm working on AWS. Also, more than a trainer, I'm a consultant for a lot of companies worldwide. I basically support the organization to migrate to the AWS platform, and also I have help to secure the cloud computing platform. I design solutions for them. And team, these are my certifications. I am AWS certified practitioner. I am AWS certified solution architect, and I've also done AWS certified security specialty. And team, I've also worked in COBOL, JCL, PM1, DBT. I'm also certified CH. Okay, so this was all about my profile. And team, today what we are going to discuss is that we are going to discuss about introduction to AWS, then shared responsibility model and AWS well architect framework. So team, first of all, I would like to tell you like what is cloud computing. So this is necessary. So what is cloud computing team? So team, cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of compute power, database storage application and other IT resources. So this is the uh, definition you can see all around the web. But what kind of a definition I have is like, see, cloud computing. Cloud computing is made up of two words. Okay, so team, cloud computing is basically made up of two words. First one is cloud, second one is computing. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to break this word into two. The first one, that is cloud. So team, what is cloud? If you are able to access something over the internet, right? So this is for the cloud. And then for computing, team, like in computing, we are having four things. That is CPU, computing capacity. Then we have memory. Then we have storage, right? Then we have network. So team, if you are just able to get all these computing capacity over the internet, then I call it as a cloud computing. So this kind of definition, I think for sure it's really easy. Now team, second point is that this cloud service platform platform gives you as a pay as you go pricing. So what does this mean? Like pay as you go pricing means, team, you have to pay what you are using. So for example, this is my AWS account team. So don't worry, I will just show you like what all things we are having in the AWS account. So for now, like this is my AWS account and I am having lots of services here. Can you see that like I'm having lots of services here? Team, so it doesn't matter that I'm lots of service. I have created account, so I have to pay for a whole account. So pay as you go pricing means that you have to pay what you are using. Like for example, this is my S3. This is a storage solution. So if you're using S3 for like 5 GB, 10 GB, 30 GB, so you have to pay for only that thing, right? So this is like pay as you go pricing. Then team, third point is that you can provision exactly the right type and size of computing resources you need. So team, like if you were working like in your IT on premises, so you have seen that you have to just guess like what all things you require, what type of computing capacity you will be requiring, what size of the server will be there. So all these things, if you're working in a cloud, if you move to the cloud, then you don't have to worry about it. You can provision exactly the right type and size of the computing resources. Right? So you don't have to buy anything upfront. You just need to use things that are present on the cloud. Then team, you can access as many as resources I need almost instantly. Like this is my AWS account. So whatever I can whatever I want to access, I can access these things easily, right? So this is right. Then team, then we have fourth thing is that simple way to access server storage databases and set of application service. So you can access anything, whatever you want, right? So this is the basic introduction of cloud computing, like what cloud looks like, what is cloud computing. Now, team, we have something called as like you have been using some cloud services, and I believe that you might be knowing that this is a Gmail and this is email cloud service, okay, and you have to pay only for emails that are stored. So I think Gmail provide you up to 15 GB free, right? And after that you have to pay for it. Same we have Dropbox. In Dropbox you can store whatever files, whatever things you want to store. So this is Dropbox. Then team, this is like a Netflix. I know like most of the people might be knowing about it. If you are really a person, that kind of a person who really wants to watch web series, movies. So I know that you might be well versed about this, right? So this is also, and team, like this Netflix is completely built on AWS. Now team, I find like what will happen. See, like nowadays, like all thing, like what is happening. Like we all are working organization, right? So whatever the latest booming technology we heard, we really just try to run over that, right? Just we need to learn, or we just need to move on it. So same with the cloud. Like after cloud has boomed, like all the on-premises wants to move to the cloud. So team, like I will tell you, like first of all, like moving to the cloud is really good idea. But team, for example, it's not like that if your competitor or if your some other like if your competing organizations are moving to the cloud, then you also need to do that. It's completely wrong. First thing is that you need to check like if like cloud is good for you not. You need to just do proper R&D. You just need to check each and everything. Then you need to go for the cloud, right? And not only for cloud, like any cloud provider, you're going for AWS, GCP, Azure. So what you can do, you just need to learn some basics about it and just compare what things are suiting you. So then you can go for any cloud platform, right? Then in a easy way you can select which cloud platform suits you. Like for example, some people says like container services are good of AWS. If you wants to go for Active Directory and all that kind of Microsoft product, then Azure is very good. So like these things we are having, right? So for this we need to just do proper R&D and all these things. So team, like why to cloud, right? Why to cloud? So team, like there are like these things, okay? So first thing that is why to cloud. First one is capex to apex. So team, like capex to apex means, like first of all, capex means capital expense and opex means operational expenses. So first thing is as capital expenses. So team, like if you want to build your own data center in cloud platform, like not on cloud platform, if you want to build in your own data center on premises, so what all things you require? First of all, you require proper infrastructure, right? You need to buy a building, rent out things. Then what all? You need to buy all hardwares, right? You need to buy servers. You need servers. You need storing capacity, right? So then you need routers, right? Then what else? Mm, like if you're having servers out and all these kind of things, then for this you need heat, ventilation, and air conditioning, right? Then you need to just maintain. You just need to go for maintenance for all these kind of things, right? Team, like these capex things are never ending things. Like if you're just hosting your, like if you're having your own data center, then you have to pay lot of things upfront before setting up, right? So these things come under capex. Now, team, we have something called as OPEX. OPEX is operational cost. Now, team, for example, you have your own data center on your premises. You have just bought all these things. So your expenses didn't end here, right? What you need to do, you just need to pay bills, right? You just need to pay bills for your uh, electricity bills. Then you need to pay salaries to your employees, right? Then you need to do lot of stuff, right? Okay. So team, then we have OPEX, right? That is operational cost. You need to pay bills. You just need to pay salary, right? So then you just need to take maintenance as well. You just need to maintain. Then there are end of life events. Don't worry, team. I will explain what is end of life events. For all these purpose, you need to pay, right? So these things will come under OPEX. So team, whenever you are just building your own infrastructure, like if you are building your own data center on your premises, then you have to pay, see, this much cost. First of all, first you have to buy all these things. You need to pay all these things upfront. Then what you need to do, you just need to pay rent and all these things for. So team, now these all things are never ending. So what will happen, team? You have to pay for all these, right? So if you're just moving to the cloud, right now, if I just created this account, okay, this is my AWS account. So team, do you know that I really don't need to pay anything? Like for 1 year, it's completely free. It's like in a free tier, and they have just deducted like 2 or 5 rupees around, and they have just given that back as well within couple of weeks. So team, like creating an account, you don't need to pay anything, right? So you don't have to buy any infrastructure, you don't need to buy any hardwares, you don't need to buy people, don't need to hire employees, right? So you can easily have your AWS account, and from here you can launch as many as instances. You can just create your own infrastructure using VPC. So first advantage, or first why you want to move to cloud, is the reason. So if you don't want to pay for capex and opex, so you can go for cloud. Then team, second advantage we are having, that is scalability. So team, what is scalability? Now for example, if you're having an organization, now if like you have started as like if you started from the very basic, and you're having like very basic configurations. Cool. Now you have buy very less servers with a very less capacity. Now you have your application. Now team, what happens, like if you or like after some time your application become famous, right? And people are using a lot, then what will happen, you will get lots of requests. And team, if you don't have proper infrastructure, then you have to suffer, right? But if you are moving to the cloud, and if your application become famous as well, and people are using, you are having lot of stuff, and team, if you have enabled scalability, then I can guarantee you, you don't have to do anything, right? And there can be like one more example for this. Like for now, I'm having this is my website, right? Team, I have hosted a website here, and I'm having lots of requests, like 100 requests on daily basis. Now team, if I am planning for the sale, what will happen? Okay, so this is my application, and this is my application, right? So now I am planning for the sale day, right? This is my shopping website, and I am planning for the sale. So what will happen, like on normal days, if I am having 100 user, on sale day what will happen, I can have like around 1,000 users, 10,000 users, right? So what will happen then, I will not be able to serve them. But team, if you are having your application on cloud, so what you can do, you can easily scale them, right? It means that all these things will be like, all like a cloud will be just creating additional servers for you, and you can serve as many as request you are having, right? So this is the advantage of scalability. So if you want to scale your organization, so you can go for team. Then we have compliance need. I know that you might be knowing, like there are like lots of compliance. First of all, we are having like PCI DSS, we are having HIPAA, right? We are having lots of GDPR, so we are having lots of compliance. Team, if you are just working on your like on premises, then you have to take care of each and everything, right? But if you're working on a cloud, or if you're running all these things for like all your application, everything on cloud, then you don't need to worry about all these things, right? All these things will be taken care by cloud service provider. Cool team. Then we have UL events. Team, what is UL events? UL events are end of life event. Now team, for example, if you're working in organization, right? So if you're working in organization, if you work in a same organization for 8 years, so it will not happen, right? You will be using the same laptop for 8 years. What will happen, like after like 2 or 3 years, your this old laptop will be taken care by like taken back by the your employ like your organization, and you will be having the new one. So why we are doing UL events type? Because we want to match the a company standard, right? So for that purpose we are going for UL events, and these UL events will increase your productivity as well. Now we know that your laptop has a life period of around 3 or 4 years, and if you're using for 8 years, what will happen? Anytime it can break down, right? And in that case, what will happen? You have to suffer and your organization will suffer, right? So what will happen? Your organization don't want to suffer. For that purpose, what they will do, they will give, just replace you with a new hardware, right? So team, similarly, if you are having all these things on your data center, see, if you have just having your own data center on your premises, so what will happen? You have to do all these end of life events by your own. Like for example, if you're having servers, okay, and these servers are having a lifetime period of around 8 to 10 years. Now what will happen after like 8 or 10 years? You have to just replace it by yourself, right? So you don't have to worry about all these things. If you're working in a cloud, UL events will be done by AWS in the backend. Then team, less HR. I know this is not really good for us because we all will be losing jobs. But still, if you think in perspective of organization, they will be really happy with that. They need to pay less, and if you're having like all these things automated, there is one more advantage. There will be no issue of human negligence, right? There will be no human errors, no human negligence. Then team, we are having something called as disaster recovery. Team, in disaster recovery, if if something like you are having your own organization in one place, right? For example, in Chennai. So when I was working as a developer, I faced that disaster recovery thing. So we were having a project in Chennai, and all these things will be taken care. Like this project was completely taken care by Chennai people. And what happened? There was a flood, and all these things will be like put on hold. Like there was like a disaster, right? So no one was able to do anything. So what they have done, they have just replicated. After that, they have just replicated this thing all over the regions, right? Now what they have done from China, they have replicated to Noida, Bangalore, right? If one place is down, then we can work from another place. Cool team. Then team, we have something called as security. Now team, like right now, as I'm telling you all these things, right? If I am telling you like in advantages, but I will tell you one thing. If you are moving to the cloud, you are just going for like high risk, okay? So if you're going for the cloud, you are in a risk team, so it's not good. But there is one more advantage given by the cloud. The advantage is that team, you don't have to do anything, right? Like if you're having any security issue, what will happen? Like AWS or like any cloud service provider will provide you lot of things that you can protect your application, your data. Like for protecting your application, they are having like web shield, network ACL, security groups, right? They will be having lot of things. Then protecting our data, there we will be having encryption at rest, right? Then we will be just encrypting all our data. For that, we are having HMS, KMS, all these kind of thing. So team, these were the advantages for which purpose we are just moving to the cloud. Okay, Mohit, like compliance, like if you're working in an organization, right? Like if you're working on premises, you have to do all these things by yourself. Like compliance needs, you need to get certified, all these things. But if you're working on a cloud, like you just need to not need to do anything. You just need to use AWS managed services, and all these compliance need will be taken care by AWS. We have cloud deployment model, right? Then we have cloud deployment model. So team, basically in cloud we are having three types of deployment model, okay? So we have to discuss about cloud deployment model, right? So team, like if you are in a cloud, there are basically like three deployment model. These are traditional, but there are like lots of other deployment model. I will discuss them as well. So first I will be taking up with the uh, this one, right? Traditional one. These are like public, private, and then third one is hybrid. So team, like first one, we will be going with the public. Okay, so what is public cloud team? So public, it means a team we are having something called as we are having public services, right? So team, like there is always a cloud service provider, and with which you have to go with like pay as you go pricing model. right? First of all, there will be like cloud service provider. Second thing is that public cloud is usually divided into two. First one is for like individual, okay? So you can use individual if you want to use, then you can use it like an organization level. So team, like for personal like individual purpose, people are going for something called as Google Drives, right? So people are like going for Google Drives. So like what is wrong with the Google Drive? So team, like with the Google Drive, what's wrong with the Google Drive? So team, like Google Drive, like there are like some drawbacks, like very less security. You don't find any security measures there. Then you don't have any location preferences, right? So you don't know, right, where you have where Google have put your all data. So you are just simply putting your data. Third thing is a limited space. If you are just willing to pay for more, like after some time, you won't be able to store. For that, you need to create different account, right? So team, the only thing or the best thing about public cloud is they are economical. And if you talk about organization basis, then you can go for like AWS Azure and Google GCP, in that you're having public services that are S3, right? Then team, we are having something called as private cloud. So team, in private cloud, like there are like two types. First one is on-premises private cloud, and second one we are having is called as off-premises private cloud. Cool team. First one we are having is on-premises private cloud, and then second we are having something called as off-premises private cloud. Cool team. Like in we are having two type, on-premises private cloud and off-premises private cloud. So team, what is happening in on-premises private cloud? Team, in this we are leveraging our own infrastructure. In that we are just having resource pooling, we are having scalability, elasticity, we are having lots of things, right? And what is happening here? We are just using, okay, so what we are doing here, so team, we are just leveraging our own infrastructure. We are adding the all the cloud capabilities, and here can be like cloud service provider or not. It depends. Like if you want to, like if you want to ask like AWS that can you please deploy all these things in our premises? Like we are having all the hardware things, we are having all these resources in our premises. Can you please help us? Or you can do it independently. So this is on-premises private cloud. Then team, we are having something called as, okay, so this is like on-premises private cloud, right? You are having your own infrastructure. Okay, first point is that team in on-premises private cloud, you are having your own infrastructure. Okay, you are just adding cloud capabilities, and you are using it for your own clients, right? Then team, like there are like some advantages with on-premises private cloud. So like the advantage of on-premises private cloud is that you are having complete control, and data is within our control. Okay. Second thing is the security. Team, like we are having lots of things, right? So like if all these things like within our premises, then we have lots of security measures, right? So we can easily uh, secure our on-premises things, right? Then team, we have exact idea of the location, like where our data lies. And team, the most important advantage of this is that we have no multi-tenancy. So team, like what is multi-tenancy? Multi-tenancy is something like we are having a hardware that is shared with the others people as well, right? We are having the same piece of hardware. So let me tell you what is. So let me tell you like what is multi-tenancy. So team, for example, this is my piece of hardware, right? So what AWS will do if you want to store something, so this piece of things will be allocated to you, then some part of this hardware will be allocated to some other person, right? So by this way team, we are having multi-tenancy. It means that we all are using the same hardware. Okay, but if you're going for on-premises team, then you don't have any multi-tenancy. You are just, you can have like internal multi-tenancy, like your business units, you are having different projects, right? But you don't have actually multi-tenancy. You are not sharing your piece of hardware with some other person, right team? Then team, like disadvantages we are having with on-premises private cloud. The advantages are like you are fully responsible, okay, because everything lies with you. So you are fully responsible if something happened bad. Then cost team, you have to pay like massive capex and opex if you are going for on-premises cloud. And team, finally, that you know that you need to pay like you will be having all these like human resources for carrying all this stuff, so you have to pay them as well. Now team, there is something called as off-premises private cloud. So team, the minor difference between on-premises and off-premises private cloud is that in on-premises private cloud, you are having all the hardware, all these things on your premises, right? But in off premises, you don't have like you are just having a virtual private cloud, but not in your premises. Cool team, you are having a virtual private cloud, but not in your premises. Like you are using AWS, Azure, and GCP. Cool team. Like for example, this is my VPC. Okay, this is my virtual private cloud team, and we can create our own data center, right? So I can do what all capabilities you can do with your own premises. You can just create all this infrastructure here, right? You can create your own VPC, subnet, route tables, right? You can do anything whatever you wants to do. You can mention your rules in like security groups in network ACS, right? So you can do all these things here. Cool team. So this is basically like a off-premises private cloud. In this, you are just leveraging the resources of the cloud cloud service provider. Now, team, then we have hybrid. Hybrid is basically like a combination of public and private cloud. It's like we have on-premises DC cloud and need to extend for some amount of time. So you can go for hybrid cloud. Cool team. Then in on-premises cloud, you are having AWS. Okay. In on-premises, you are having your resources. Okay. Just let me tell you like how. Uh, for example, like this is your on-premises cloud. Okay. I'm just typing on-prem for it. So this is on-prem. Then this is my off. Okay. This is my cloud service provider, or this is off-premises private cloud. So team, you can go for a hybrid. Like if you want to extend like for some amount of time, if you got any requirement from your client and you don't really want to buy new servers, so and you want to create POC, for that purpose you can go for it. Then you can go for like DR sites. If you want to build DR site, you can go for it. Then if you want to move, if you're just planning to move to cloud, then you can also use it. Then if you want to back off of your data, like if you want to keep all your data here, so then also you can leverage AWS. So in this way, hybrid is just like a combination of public and private. In private, you are having all your stuffs and you are just leveraging public all as well. Now, team fourth, we are having something called as community cloud. Cool team. Then we are having something called as community cloud, right? Then team, in community cloud, what we are doing, we are just creating our like for example, we are having like four banks. Okay, like for example, we are just have like in India we are having four bank, like SBI. Then we are having HDFC, right? And then we are having HDFC. Then we have ICICI. Okay, just give me a second, team. Just you can take like anything like PNB. Then we are having like Bank of India. Okay, or Access. We are having like these four banks. Now, team, like these bank wants to use the cloud platform. So what they will do, they will just go to the cloud and they will just tell like any cloud service provider, can you please deploy this for us? And this cloud service provider will deploy this cloud for only for these four people, right? These four banks will only be able to use this. So what we are doing, we are just deploying a cloud for some community. Cool team. Now team, then we are having something called as AWS government cloud. Okay, so they are just building cloud for government. Okay, like AWS has built uh, cloud for US government, right? Then finally we are having multiple cloud. And team, right now, like most of the time, like I can see, or like you will be also seeing this, companies are just going for hybrid cloud. So sorry, multi cloud. So team, what is multi cloud? Multi-cloud is that now team, if you are just going for like you have just done R&D all about AWS Azure, right? So when you've done all R&D of all these things, and you know like what all services will be benefited from all these, like from AWS you are just taking the container services. From Azure you are going to use this then you are just going to use whatever like Azure Active Directory. Then for GCP you are just going to use storage. So we don't like we can control multi-tenancy in a way like we can put all our what we say we can just put our all our data like sensitive data in on premises, and we can just use AWS for like non-sensitive data, right? So in this way we can just remove multi-tenancy in hybrid cloud. And if we talk about multi-cloud team, so in multi-cloud like we are deploying so many services, right? So if you just don't want to go for multi-tenant, there are like something called as like if you're going for these services like just give me a second team. So this is my AWS network, right? So team, if you don't want to share multi-tenant, so what you can do, okay, just give me a second team. I will show you. So team, like if you don't want to go for multi-tenant, then you have to go for dedicated, right? If you are going for like these kind of dedicated things, right? So if you're going for like the like you have to go for like these kind, like you have to select this dedicated. This means that team, you will be having your own thing, right? Whole team. So it means that you are just getting all these things dedicated. It means that you will be getting dedicated hardware for this. So by this way you can just remove multi-tenancy. Now team, this was about cloud deployments model. Then team, we have something called as cloud service model team. Like these are really important, and after that we are going to discuss about shared responsibility model. Okay, so team, first of all we are having cloud service model. Okay, so now like we are having four methods, like like four service model. First one is, so team, like we are having something called as cloud service model. So team, we are going for, we are having like four things like enterprise IT, then we are having infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So team, if you go for cloud, then we are having cloud service models. They are like three: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So team, first of all, like all these things you are seeing in a blue, it means that it should be managed by you, and all these things that are used that you are seeing in the gray part, it means that all these things will be taken care by cloud service provider. Cool team. So by this way team, like if you are going for on like if you are going for on premises data center, then you have to manage all these things, right? Team, like if you are going for like IaaS, then you have to just take care of these four things: application security, database, and operating system. And rest all these things will be taken care by cloud service provider. So in platform as a service, this is your application you just need to take care of, and other things will be taken care by cloud service provider. Then we are having like software as a service. Then team, like all these things will be taken care by cloud service provider, and you have to just use this. So I will tell you like what all things these are. So first of all team, like we are having something called as IaaS. Okay, I will just tell you in brief like what is IaaS. So team, IaaS means like IaaS, it is the most flexible types of cloud services which lets you rent, okay, which lets, so team, like we are having infrastructure as a service, okay. So it is the most flexible type of cloud service which lets you rent the hardware and contains the basic building blocks of cloud and IT. It gives you complete control over the hardware that runs your application, like servers, VMs, storage, networks, and operating systems, right? Okay, so you have complete control over all these things, right? So okay, so team, like it's an instant computing infrastructure provision and manage over the internet. Okay, so IaaS gives you the very best level of flexibility and management control over your IT resources. Cool team. So this is about AWS. This is about IaaS, right? Then team, what are the example of IaaS? Team, IaaS is like example of IaaS are like AWS EC2. Cool team. So I'm just going to show you service that is EC2. Team, I'm not going to launch anything. I'm just going to show you. Okay. So this is my EC2 service team. Okay. So team, I am having one instance that is running right now. Okay. So team, if you want to do like this is like a IaaS service. Okay. So just need, you can see that like I am having my own operating system. You just need to select operating system from here. You just need to select hardware. Okay. So you are having network capacity as well. Then this is your storage capacity as well, right? So team, like if you are going for IaaS, then all these things will be in your complete control. You can do whatever you want. You can select whatever things you want. Cool team. So this is IaaS, and this is one of the example of IaaS, like we are having EC2. Then team, what are the benefits of IaaS? Okay, so there are like some benefits of IaaS. So first benefit of IaaS is cost saving. Okay, so how it's going to save your cost? How I is going to save your cost? So team, IaaS is more cost effective than building your own data center. You pay only what for you need. Like, or if you need storage space, you need CPU power, bandwidth, and other resources. You have to pay whatever things you want. You just don't need to buy anything upfront, right? So this makes it easier to scale up or down as needed. Then second benefit of IaaS is on-demand access team. Okay, so whatever like see like I have launched a server, right? So this server is launched on on-demand. So whenever you want to just launch a server, you can easily launch it, right? And whenever you want to, like within a few clicks, you can do it. So what does this mean? Like you are just demanding to AWS that please launch a server for me, right? Then team, we have a flexibility with the IaaS. Uh, you can easily add more resources when demand increases without having to upgrade equipment or hire more IT professionals. Team, now it's like I'm having a auto scaling here, right? So now you just need to create an auto scale group, right? And you just need to do all these things in a way. Now team, what will happen as your load increases? You don't need to worry about it. All these things will be taken care by AWS. Cool team. Then team, like there are like some use cases for IaaS. So what are the use cases for IaaS team? So for IaaS is useful for backing up, storing and recovering data, and also helps in managing fluctuating storage needs, right? So it's really helpful, like if you're going for backing up, recovering data, team, and the most useful cases, it is cheaper and faster to set up test and development environment with IaaS. Team, if you want to just have all these things, right? So you can do very easily with the IaaS in a very cheaper way. Then team, the application deployment over the cloud can be done in less time with IaaS, right? If you are just having IaaS, you can do it like in a very minimum amount, and you can scale up or down the apps based on unpredictable demands. Moreover, all your infrastructure and storage requirements are borne by the provider so that you can easily deploy the application. Right, team? So in this way, like these are the some use cases of IaaS. Now, team, we are having something called as PaaS, that is platform as a service. Okay. So, team, what is PaaS? So, PaaS is something like platform as a service, team. Okay. So, I will tell you like interesting fact about PaaS. Like PaaS is a cloud service model that gives you a ready-to-use development environment. Okay. So, where developers can specialize in writing and executing high-quality code. Okay, to make customized application. Cool team. It means a team like you don't have to do anything. All these things will be taken care by your cloud service provider, and you just need to focus on your code, right? So this is PaaS. Okay, it helps you to create an application quickly without managing the underlying infrastructure, right? You don't have to leverage, like you don't have to worry about what all things I need, like what all servers I require. Okay, what all things I need to configure, what all capacity I need, what all storage I need. All these things will be taken care by cloud service provider. You just need to focus on your team. Like there are like some examples of Paas, like Beanstalk or Lambda. So I will show you like one example of Paas. Okay, what is Paas service? So for that, you just need to go here. Okay, so this is my Elastic Beanstalk. So team, this is my Paas service. Okay, then I will show you like how easily you can deploy your application. So team, first of all, you just need to click here. You just need to give any application like you have to just give any name like my demo application. Okay, so I'm selecting this only. Now team, tags are really important. If you want can do it, but it's our optional. I'm just leaving it for now. Team, like if you want to choose platform, can you select like how many platform it is supporting, right? So you just need to select platform. Okay, so for example, I'm selecting PHP, right? So if now I'm selecting for PHP, okay, then team, you just need to just use the platform version that is available here. And team, like if some people ask me like if he wants to go the downgraded version, if you I'm having a code with I'm not having a code with the latest version. So for that, what I need to do, so for that I will recommend to the person that please go to IaaS service. Cool team. So this is the example of Elastic Beanstalk. See, you just need to give your name. You just need to select your platform, in which platform you have built your code. If you want to upload your code team, you can just simply do it from your local file, right? You just need to upload it from your local file, like any file you are having in your local system, or you if you are having somewhere like in your public S3 URL. Cool team. So by this way, you can just uh, use like this Paas service. Cool team. Now there are like some benefits of Paas. Okay, so like benefits of Paas are like faster development time. So team, you don't have to build infrastructure before you can start coding, right? So it reduced cost. Like your IT department won't need to spend money, spend time or manual deployments or server management. You don't need to do anything. You just need to focus on your code. You just need a coding, and you are just good to go. Then team, like high availability, I will say you high availability. The reason is that a Paas provider like Paas, like we are like having a high availability. Like how can I say like we are having high availability? A Paas provider can make sure your application is always available. Okay, so even during hardware failures or maintenance windows, all these things will be taken care by cloud service provider. Cool team. Now, Paas use cases team, like Paas is useful for companies deploying, running, and managing app programming interfaces, right? Paas is suitable for setting up and managing organization databases. Paas support various programming languages. And now team, we have something called as SaaS. So this was all about Paas, right? So in Paas team, like the overview about Paas is that you don't need to do anything. You just need to have your code with you, and you can deploy your application. And all these things like auto scaling, your security or OS patching, everything will be taken care by cloud service provider. Cool team. So by this way, you can build your application instantly. In then team, we are having something called as SaaS, that is called as software as a service. The team SaaS provides you with the complete product that is run and managed by the service provider. See here, each and everything is managed by a cloud service provider. You don't need to do anything, right? You just need to consume that product, like we are doing with a Gmail, right? So we are having Gmail, Dropbox, Microsoft Office 365. So we are assuming all, we are just using all these things. We are not doing anything over it, right? And team, one more thing, like SaaS always comes with the pay, like with the subscription model, like you're having with Netflix, right? So with Netflix, uh, you are having with a like a SaaS model, like it will be coming with on the subscription part, right? So you just need to subscribe, right? And you are good to go. Cool team. Then you have like benefits of SaaS, lower total cost of ownership. Team, like if you are using Gmail, if you are using Netflix, if you are using uh, Microsoft Office 365, you are using Dropbox. So team, like you are paying not that much, right? You are not deploying anything, you are not doing anything, right? You are just using that, okay, on a subscription basis. Cool team. So on that basis, we are just getting and we are just using all these services. So SaaS use cases team, like simple SaaS use cases, that SaaS helps in delivering application that can be widely distributed and accessed. For example, Gmail, right? Okay. Now team, like we are going to discuss about something called as cloud, or like shared responsibility model. So this is the you can also call it responsibility matrix. So it will just define the outline, like what all things should be taken care by you and what all things should be taken care by cloud service provider. So cool team. So like what is shared responsibility model? Let's start with that. So team, like a cloud vendor provides various cloud service to its user. Okay. So one one provide the service and other uses it. Cool. So both vendors and users share some responsibility. Like the vendor is the responsibility for the service provided, and the user. Team, first of all, Mesh, I will tell you, like SaaS is like not a SaaS. Sorry, database is not like a SaaS. It's a PaaS, and you just need to just tell like, okay, just let me show you. Okay, so it's like a PaaS service. It's completely managed. It's not a SaaS service. Okay, so for example, I am having a database that is called as Amazon. Okay, just let me type DynamoDB. Okay, so this is my PaaS service, right? So this is PaaS service. Database comes with the PaaS service team, and you all these things will be taken care by in the backend by, see, the DynamoDB is fully managed. Okay, key value and document database that is single digit millisecond performance at any scale. So team, we are not just creating any data. We are just not creating any database itself. It is a database. You can just create table. Okay, for example, I am just typing employee table, right? And you can give like any like name, it's a string. Okay, I'm just giving a string, then I'm having a short key. You can give number. Okay, string. Okay, if you want to go for like all customized setting, you can go for like standard or infrequent access. It means that you are just saving money, right? Team, like you can go for like your as per your provision mode, right? As per your demand, you can go for like capacity. Okay, simply you just need, see, this is what you need to pay. Okay, so this is the estimated cost you will be paying. Create table, and team, you are good to go. See, it's just a name error, just give me a second team. Okay, create table. Team, now see my table has been created. Okay, so like we don't need to deploy anything. It's not a SaaS service, but it's a PaaS service. It will be taken care by cloud service provider. Now it's my table has been created, and if you want to create any attributes inside this, you can do it, right? So this is completely PaaS service. Team, like if you're going for like anything, like any other things, you can go for like a license for like, if you're just going for Oracle, if you're going for some other databases, right? Then you have to bring your own license here. Okay, so for that you need to go for RDS. Cool. So this is all about PaaS service side. Okay, so team, we were talking about responsibility metrics. Okay, so in responsibility metrics, we are having like customer and AWS, right? Cool team. Now, what is like responsibility model? So team, like in a like a cloud vendor provides various cloud service to its user, right? What is shared responsibility model? So team, a cloud vendor provides various cloud services to its user, right? So for example, like one provide the service and other uses it. Okay, so both vendors and user share some responsibility, like the vendor is responsible for the service provider and the user responsible for the service uses. Cool team. One is providing the service and another is consuming the. Cool team. So by this way, the user is responsible for the all this kind of stuff, right? So first of all, we are having something called as cloud service provider, which will be providing you service, and then we are having users which will be using all these services. So team, we have already discussed about the level of abstraction. So they are just the other name of cloud computing service models like IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Team, the biggest challenge that organization face is the confusion of the responsibilities lead to security compromisation. This confusion gives hacker a blind spot to attack, right? So and many reports claim that improperly shared security responsibilities as a culprit, right? So report explains that the improperly shared responsibility model are the culprits for various security incidents, right? So team like AWS established the AWS responsibility model to clarify their responsibilities. So team, like according to the AWS shared responsibility model, AWS is responsible for the security of the cloud and customer, and is responsible for the security in the cloud. Cool team. So like what are the responsibility of AWS? So AWS is responsible for protecting the infrastructure that runs all the services. Okay. In other words, like AWS control, operate and manage the components from the host operating system and virtualization layer, that is down to the physical layer in which service operates. Okay, so team, we were discussing about the shared responsibility model. So let me explain about the AWS responsibility. So AWS is responsible for protecting the infrastructure that runs all these services. In other words, AWS control, operate, and manage the components from the host configuration and virtualization layer. Cool team. And the customer responsibilities depends on the AWS services used and the configuration they need to perform to secure the services. So if I tell you in other words, it's like customer need to manage the guest operating system, including the security patches and application software, right? Also, they need to configure the AWS provided security controls like security groups, network access control. Okay, then we have identity and access management. Cool team. So we are having identity and access management team. Like tomorrow, I will be covering identity and access management in much more detailed way. Okay. So for now, what is identity and access management? It's just like you are creating a user and groups. They can use your account. Cool team. Now, team, the responsibility of both AWS and the customer varies with the service taken into use. So make it more clear, like we will discuss this shared responsibility model for one specific AWS service, right? For example, I am taking EC2. Okay, EC2 lies under infrastructure as a service, and the responsibility model for both the service, both the cloud service provider and the customers are. See, AWS responsibilities are AWS is responsible for the infrastructure, that is region and availability zones team. So in infrastructure we are having two things, region and availability zones. So what is regions team? See team, regions are nothing but these are the physical location across the globe from where AWS is operating, and these regions are divided into multiple availability zones. Like in we are having one region, that is Mumbai, and in Mumbai they are just dividing into region to three availability zones, having complete they're different. Like there are these availability zones are 100 kilometer apart. It means that they have their own power supply, all these kind of things. For the reason is that for high availability, like if you are just launching your server in one like in one availability zone, and if it goes down, then you are in trouble, right? So this was our region availability, so this will be taken care by AWS. Okay, then like compute, storage and data base and network used with EC2, this will be taken care by EC2. Okay, so you just need to provision that. Okay, I will show you, like, okay. Then customer responsibility team, the customer is responsible for the security configuration or firewall security groups, guest operating system like Ubuntu and Windows. Okay, and application and tools, their encryption. So all these things will be taken care by customer, right? Now, for example, like I will be showing you, like just give me a second, team. So for example, team, this is my EC2, right? So team, like in EC2, like see this region and availability zones will be taken care by AWS. You just need to launch your server, right? See, you are just launching your server. What you need to do, okay? You just need to configure all these things, right? Your AMIs, right? So they are just providing with the instance type, okay? Then they are providing with the network capacity, right? Then they are providing with the storage, right? So they are giving you all four things. What you need to do, team, after launching, like you are having operating system, right? So what you need to do, you just need to log in into that operating system and you need to just do patching on your own. Second thing is that, team, you just need to take care of your things. Like this is my security group, okay? So this is my security group. Okay, so I just need to take care of all these things, my what all things I'm having, my all these to like taking care of my ports and protocols I need to take care by myself. So like all these things will be taken care by us and underlying infrastructure will be taken care by AWS. Cool, team, like the final like finally I will tell you one thing. The most important thing is that security should not be compromised at any cost, right? So and AWS also knows the importance. So team, like finally security should not be uh, compromised, okay? And AWS knows the importance of cloud security very well. Cool, team. So this was my responsibility matrix. Now, team, like let me tell you like more about AWS before going to the architecting part. Team, like this is my management console. This look like this. Okay, here I am having my account details. Okay, my service quotas, billing dashboard. From here you can just check your billing things, all that. Okay, you can check your security credentials from here. Then it's my region. Okay, then this is for help center, right? If you have any notification, it will be shown here. This is a cloud shell. It's like a command line interpreter you can use. Okay, and the team, the best thing that attract me is that you don't need to find service from here. Okay, you don't need to just go here and search for service. You just need to type here. Like if you want to go for S3, just type here. This service will appear and you can easily use it. So this is the basic walk through the console. Or you can just, if you have recently visited a service, you can easily use from here as well, right? Cool, team. Then let's discuss about AWS. We have to discuss about well architect framework. Okay, now think like in cloud, when you want to have a good architecture, right? So you need to stop guessing your capacity need. Instead you should use auto scaling, scales the based out on what the actual demand on your system is going to be, right? So you just stop guessing all your capacity needs. Second thing is that, team, you should also test your system at production scale. Okay, in the cloud you can create as many as resources you want, okay, and you can do it very quickly. So like there is no reason that you don't want to go for like test, right? So you can create things for like 1 hour and you can check all these things at production scale. Cool, team. So like if you are just going for like production scale testing, so what will happen, this will ensure in future that your system is ready, right, before publishing it to your customer. Now, team, it's really important to automate your architecture, right? And how you can do it? You can do it with with the help of cloud formation. So let me tell you like what is cloud formation, team. So cloud formation is basically, okay, cloud formation is basically infrastructure as a code. Okay, so team, what is cloud formation? Cloud formation is infrastructure as code. Cool, team. It's infrastructure as code. So team, what is infrastructure as code? Team, it's a newer thing in a market and it's a hot up in a market. So what is infrastructure as a code, team? So infrastructure code, you are just creating a infrastructure with a code. See, team, now right now I've shown you, right? So if you need to do anything, if you want to create server, you just need to do it manually, right? So but team, if you are going with something called as cloud formation, then you don't need to do things manually. all these things will be done through code. You just need to write a template that is on format of JSON and YAML, and you can easily do anything what you want, right? Then team, you should also allow like uh, you can also allow to make your architecture evolve. So you not need to design based on changing requirements. Okay, that means that when you migrate a workload from on-premise to the cloud, maybe at first you can match it one to one, but then you can try to think about how you can leverage the cloud better, right? To like you can go for like serverless. Okay, for example, you can go for serverless. Cool team. Then uh, drive architecture using data. Okay, it's not to guess. Okay, it's good to look at what the actual uses it. Okay, so don't guess, look what actual uses it, what are the patterns, right? Then drive your architecture and use right services based on what you need. Cool team. And team like improve through game days. I will explain like this is really important. Okay, so that means team like you stimulate your application for flash sale days, and this is test your system. You will know if you are doing well. For example, Netflix, they have something called as Chaos Monkey, and it is a program that's in their EC2 environment goes ahead and terminate EC2 instances randomly at production level. Team, I'm just talking about production level. They are having something called as Chaos Monkey, and they are just shutting down their EC2 instances at a production level. So by this way, they check if they are ready for failure in the cloud. Okay, so team, like you might be having failure in the cloud, so you should be just ready for that failure. Cool team. Now team, there are like something called as AWS cloud best practices and design principles. Okay, so team, like first of all, you can go for scalability, and scalability is having like two parts, that is horizontal scaling, and second one is vertical scaling. So team, what is horizontal and vertical scaling? In horizontal scaling team, you are just increasing the number of instance. Okay, in horizontal scaling you are just going to increase the number of instance as per your demand, like I have shown you, right? If you are going for the sale day, so you what will happen, you have to just increase your servers, okay, horizontally. Then team, we have vertical scaling. It means that team, you are just increasing the capacity of your server. Okay, so for example, you are using a low capacity server and now you feel like you need to go for like more capacity server, so you can go for vertical scaling as well. Like for example, I am having a T2 micro, right? So I can go for like T2 large, I can just change it to T2 large. So this is vertical and horizontal scaling. Cool team. Now team, we have disposable resources. Okay, so your server should be easily disposable and easily configured. If you put too much configuration onto a server and somehow that server is lost, okay, so what will happen? Your all the resources will be lost. Okay, so in the cloud, everything is supposed to be disposable, including your infrastructure. Okay, and so you don't need to make sure to go back, like you need to just make sure you back up your data. You need to make sure that you have backup of your configurations, right? You just need to take AMI snapshot, all these kind of thing. Cool team. Okay, let me do it again, no issues. Okay, okay, so team, by this way we are going for disposable resources. Now team, we need to have like automations. Okay, so we have servers. Okay, so team, like if you want to go for automation, you can easily go for like serverless and auto scaling and so on. Like if you want to go for serverless, you can use Lambda. Okay, and for auto scaling, you just can configure auto scaling from EC2, or as well as you can configure auto scaling from CloudWatch as well, right? From CloudWatch thing. Now team, this is really important and interesting term, that is loose coupling. So team, like loose coupling is very much important. So when you have application at first, it's monolithic, right? That means it's an application that can do everything, and over time the more you need onto the application, the bigger it becomes, right? And now as this application become bigger, it would be difficult to maintain and difficult to scale. Okay, so instead you should break it down into smaller loosely coupled components, so that maybe they can be easily linked through SNS, SQS, and other things, right? And idea here is that a change or failure should not cascade to other components, right, team? So let me give you one example for this. Okay, just give me a second, team. So let me give you an example for this. Okay, so for example, team, I am having an application here, right? So this is my application, and for example, I am having a video encoding application, and everything is happening in the front end. Okay, so this is my video encoding application, and everything happens happening in the one front end only, and we are just replying our customer from here only. So team, what will happen? Like if you have the capacity of like 100 users, and unfortunately you get a request of from 200 users, what will happen? You won't be able to resolve the queries of the customer, right? So what you can do, team, here you can your service will go down, right? So here what you can do, you can go for like loosely coupled. It means that now what you can do, you can just divide your application into two, right? So this will be your front end, this will be your back end, and here in between you can place something called as SQS. It's like a simple queue service. Okay, so you are just placing something here called as SQS. Okay, so team, what will happen now if you are still getting the more uh, a request? So what will happen, like requests are coming in this way, so all these things will be get queued here. Okay, all these things will be getting queued here. What will happen, team? Like when this I'm having the capacity of resolving 100 100 requests at a time. So what will happen, all these things will be queued here. First of all, I will just resolve 100 requests. Then after 100 requests, then I will just use again I will just resolve again 100 requests. So by this way, team, like if my front end got failed, right, and still if I am having something here in the SQS, right, left. So what will happen? Still I can process some of the data, right? Or if my backend is failed. For example, my backend is not working, backend is failed. But what will happen? Still my front end will be able to just capture the request and store as SQS. And like if I am having a downtime of like 1 or 2 minutes, so by this way we can do it. Cool, team. Then team, like one of the best practices also like go for services, not server, right? So team thinking like it's like that, like you can go for EC2, right? But it's not recommended. You can use EC2 for translating whatever you have on premises to the cloud, but now think as a service, right? You can use fully managed service like serverless databases like Paas services, right? So in that, what you need to do, you just don't need to do anything. All these things will be taken care by service provider. Cool, team. So these are the some of the best practices, team. Then we have something called as well architect framework, and in this we are having 6 pillars, team. Okay, now we have something called as well architect framework, and in this we are having 6 pillars. So team, we have 6 pillars in well architect framework. Okay, so first pillar is operational excellence, second pillar is security, third pillar is reliability, and fourth pillar is performance efficiency. Fifth pillar is cost optimization, and sixth pillar is sustainability. So team, like sixth pillar is the new one. Okay, so let's discuss. Okay, so team, like first of all, idea behind that is like when you are acting according to the pillars, you will have good architecture on AWS. Cool, team. So they are not something you want to balance or compromise or trade off. Okay, in this when you can improve when you are just improving operational excellence, you are automatically improving your cost optimization. Cool, team. Now let's do one thing, let's discuss these things one by one. So first of all, I am having first thing, that is operational excellence. Okay, So team, like this is the first pillar in well architect framework. Okay, is operational excellence. So operational excellence includes the ability to run and monitor systems to deliver business values and to continuously improve supporting process and procedure. Okay, so team, it's all about having your operations in an excellent way, right? Then team, like in this we are having like design principles. Okay, so in design principles, first thing we are having is like perform operations as code. Okay, so first one is perform operation as code. So it means the team, all your operations should be code, and not for that we need to go for something called as cloud formation, right? So team, like cloud formation is infrastructure code, I've already told you. Okay, so you just need to do code everything. Okay, so you can by using cloud formation, you can review your code, like you can review a template. Okay, so if you are reviewing template, means that you can review your architecture within like a few hours, right? So team, like it will increase your operations. Then team, annotate documentation. Okay, so team, what is annotate documentation? Like you need to annotate a document. Okay, make sure like it's clean document, make sure it's commented, and team, like uh, and generate after each build of your application. Cool team. Now we need to make frequent and small reversible changes. Now team, for example, okay, now team, for example, if you make huge changes every 3 months, in case of failure, you may feel difficulty to reverse it. Okay, so go for small changes. In case of any failure, you can revert it very easily, right? Cool team. Finally, anticipate failure and learn from all your operational failure. Now team, let me tell you, like there are like some services. Okay, so by using these services, you can just increase your operation excellence. Okay, so for example team, okay, you can just increase your operation excellence with these services. Okay, so first thing is that, like first service you can go for, that is AWS cloud formation. Okay, so team, we can use cloud formation for preparing infrastructure as a code and review code, and if you wants to make change in infrastructure, it can be done easily within cloud formation. Okay, so team, like for example, I am just having my infrastructure distributed all over this my account, right? Now if I make any changes in my one part of application, so it will be very difficult for me to go like each and every place and check like what all things it has it and what are the outcomes, right? So for this we can go for like cloud formation, and we can easily see like what all things are impacted and what all things we are having, right? Then team, we are having AWS CloudWatch. Okay, so you can use CloudWatch for viewing or monitoring the performance in infrastructure, right? So team, like CloudWatch look like this. Okay, so this is my EC2. Okay, so team, this is my EC2, right? So this is my instance running. Okay, so using this CloudWatch monitoring tool, right? So I can see like what all, like what is my performance, like what is my CPU utilization right now. Okay, is there like what is my network like see CPU credit uses, right? See, so by this way team, I can monitor my operation performance. Cool team. Then team, we are having another thing, that is security. Our second pillar is security. Okay, so team, it includes the ability to protect information system and assets while delivering business values through risk assessment and migration strategies. Okay, so team, like first of all, like when we are going for like security, like all the organization, all the people are really worried like, oh, now we have to do all these things. Okay, so we are just worried about it. So team, like security is really really important. Okay, so we have to minimize the risk over time. Okay, now how do we design strong security? First thing is that how we are going to design a strong security. So team, well, for that we need to have a strong identity foundation. For this we are going to use service that is called as IAM, that is identity and access management. And using this identity and access management, we can manage users in centralized manner, right? So let me show you. Okay, and team, we can also follow the principle of least privileges, right? Okay, so team, in this I am having my IAM. Okay, so team, like in this way I can have my users, right? So in this way team, you can create your users and you can use accordingly, right? So this is my centralized way of having my users. I can see like what all privileges I have given to them, right? And team, like we can use something called as principle of least privilege. It means that I will be just going for the I'm just going to give as much as permission that is required for that person to do its job. Now team, we have like enable tracing. Okay, so we want to enable tracing. That means that we want to look at the all the logs, okay, and store them and automatically respond them, right? Then team, we have something called as apply security at all layers. Okay, so team, we are having layers like first of all we are having edge network, then we are having VPC, then we are having subnet, then we are having load balancer. And team, like every instance, then we are having instance, then we are having operating system, then we are having application, right? So team, what we are going to do here, we are just going to going for an approach that is called as defense in depth. Okay, so if one security control fails, then there should be another security controls to take over. Cool, team. Now, second thing is that automate security is best practice. Is done when done automated. It's like if you're just like for example, teams are having lots of logs like VPC logs, CloudTrail logs, like lot of logs. So I know that it will not be very like easy for you to just go through like each and every log. So if you go for like automated like in automated way, then it will be really helpful for you. Cool, team. Then team, we can protect data in transit and at rest. Okay, we can do it by encryption. We can use HMS, KMS, all kind of things. Okay, team, we should prepare for like security events, like run incident response simulations and use tools like automation to increase the speed for detection. Okay, then team, for security, we have already discussed about shared responsibility model. Cool, team. Now team, like we are having like secure, like we are having some AWS services. Okay, so I have already explained you like identity and access management, right? Okay, I have already explained you like identity and access management in security. Okay, in security we are having something called as identity and access management. I already explained you like how we can use identity and access management for building our for just securing our system, right? We can create our users, we can assign them proper policies, right? Then team, there is something called as STS. This is a backend service team. If you're just going to go here and type STS, you won't be able to find here. Okay, so the reason is that team, STS is a backend service. Okay, so what STS do, it helps to provide temporary credentials. Okay, so it will help you to provide temporary credentials in the backend. Okay, if my one service want to access, and usually we used to do in a role. I will tell you. We can manage all these things using MFA, right? So team, we are having like multi-factor authentication. Okay, so in multi-factor authentication, what we can do, right? So we are having like password, and what we can do, we can just create, we can use Google Authenticator and all these kind of stuff. Okay, for our like semantic. Okay, for all these things or MFA. Then team, we are having something called as AWS organization. Okay, so team, what is AWS organization? So team, AWS organization is a service. Okay, okay. So team, we are using this service to control multiple accounts. So, okay. So team, what will happen if you create an organization here? Okay. So team, if you want to create an organization, click here. You create an organization. Your organization will be created, and you can send like request to different accounts, and you can just make a member, right? So like for example, we are having lots of people sitting here, right? We are having Anmol, we are having Chaitanya, right? We are having Dinesh, right? So what we can do, team, I can send you a request, and you will be just member of my this account, and I can just have a control over your account. Now I can enforce secure like service control policies to just limit like what all service you can use or not, right? And why we are going for this service, the reason is that in a like in practical we are not going for a single AWS account. Okay, so for this we need a cloud account management service, so for that we are going for AWS organization. Then team, like we are having CloudTrail to look at you like all the logs that have been created in your account. Like for example, this is my CloudTrail. Okay, let me open this team. So what all things that I have done in my account will be visible here. So you can use all these things. Okay, so event history, click here. Okay, so these are all the things that I have done right now. See what I have done. I have shown you, right? Okay, so team, by this way we can do all these things, right? Now team, we have like CloudFront to protect from DDoS attacks, right? Then we are having VPC, okay, to set up the right ACL, okay. Then we have Shield. Again, we have a Shield team. Like CloudFront is using Shield only, so we are having a service that is called a Shield to protect from DOS and DDoS attacks. Okay, let me show you. Okay, so this is my Shield. Okay, so I am having Shield, and okay, so team, first of all, this is my Shield. Okay, so team, can you see that here? Just give me a second, team. Just taking a time, little bit. Okay, so team, can you see here, like it is used to protect us from those and DDoS attacks, right? So you can go for this, and if you want to go for this is something called as web application protocol. Okay, so it helps you to just save your resources from bot attack or OAPS top 10, right? So all these things like common vulnerabilities, all these things will be shared. It will help you to save. And okay, okay, so team, like we are having all these things. Then we have inspector, okay, for like threat intelligence. Then we have KMS for encryptions of for our data. Cool team. Now team, now team, next thing we are having something called as reliability, right? Now team, what is reliability? It's the ability, okay, it's the ability to recover from infrastructure or service disruption, right? So reliability is the ability of a system to recover from infrastructure or service disruption, okay. And for that we are having, okay, then team, we are having design principles. Okay, so first one is like test recovery procedure, use automation to simulate different failures or to recreate scenarios that led to failures beforehand. I have already discussed like type of a thing like chaos monkey. Then team automatically recover from failure. Okay, so team, like for this we can use some services. Okay, uh, I will just discuss it, like we are having some services for that, right? Then we are having horizontal, like scaling horizontally to increase aggregated system availability. So team, now I have one thing, right? Now team, now we need to just divide our resources in more in smaller things, right? So team, like for example, okay, I am having a very strong, okay, I am having a very strong system, right? Okay, I've taken uh, a very high computing capacity, what we say server, right? And team, what happens like if it fails, what will happen? Like it can take like 10,000 recovery. What will happen? Like our whole system is down, right? Now team, what we have done, we have just created like five different small servers, and they are just serving the same purpose. Then what will happen if one server is down, at least like my four servers are working, right? So team, in this way we can just distribute our workload in multiple resources. Then team, stop guessing your capacity, right? Maintain the optimal level to satisfy the demand without over or under provision, right? I will tell you like how we can do it. So team, for that we are using some services. So first thing is that VPC, okay, so this is really strong foundational for networking. Then team, we are having something called a service quotas, okay. set neither too high nor too low. Team, we are having something called as trusted advisor. Team, like trusted advisor is nothing but it's just like a recommendation that we are getting from AWS. Like it's like our parents that we are that we are having, right? Our parents used to give us like advice, right? And we are just trusting them. So same way you are having a service that is trust advisor. Okay, so they will be just telling you what all things are good for your reliability. Then team, you are having something called as auto scaling. Okay, so you have to set if you have if you have set up auto scaling, and after some time if my application become unpopular, then we don't need to change anything, right? Sorry, it become popular, then we don't need to change anything. We will be having this reliable system. It means that auto scaling is just increasing reliability in our system, right? Then we have CloudWatch team, like we can set up alarm for auto scaling, like reliability. Like for example, I'm just setting up like after 80% of my CPU utilization, just create more servers, right? So we can set up AWS CloudWatch alarms. Okay, so team, I will show you like from where you can just do all these alarm things, right? So like for example, you can create in two ways. So I am just showing from EC2 instance. Okay, so this is my instance team. So what I can do, if you want to create alarm plus here, you can just create alarm, right? Okay, so you can define alarm actions, like what all things you can do here, right? Then you can just select CPU utilization if it's right. uh, I'm just giving it for now 80%. If it's go to 80%, then what will happen, we just need to create new servers, right? Cool team. So by this way we can create alarms. Then team, we can do backup, right? Then team, we are having fourth pillar, that is performance. Okay, efficiency pillar. Then team, what is performance efficiency? This is the fourth pillar. Okay, it includes the ability to use computing resources efficiently to meet system requirement and to maintain that efficiency on demand changes. Okay, as demand changes. Okay, so to maintain that performance. So team, it's all about adapting and providing the best performance, nothing else. It's all about adapting and providing the best performance. Cool team. Then team, here we are having design principles like democratize advanced technologies. This is basically like that advanced technology becomes services, right? And you can just use these services, and you can just focus on your product development, right? Then go global in minutes. Okay, so easy deployment in multiple region. Okay, if you are using cloud formation, you can just do easy deployment in multiple region. Cool team. Use serverless architecture. So team, like serverless architecture, we are having something called as Lambda. So if you are using Lambda instead of EC2 team, then you don't have, like if you're like your EC2 instance is running like 24/7, right? If you are just creating it, right? But if you are having serverless architecture, what will happen, till you get any request, this server will not work, right? As soon as you are just getting a request, this server will work, and you have to pay for that period of amount of time only. Cool team. And you can just avoid burden of managing servers. And then team, you can go for like experiment more often, like easy to carry out comparative. Okay, so easy to like carry out comparative testing, like you can try serverless or like fully managed service, right team? Then team, like we are having some AWS services, using that you can increase your performance. Okay, so like some services that we are having right now is uh, AWS Lambda for serverless. You can go for auto scaling. Like using auto scaling, you can increase your efficiency. Okay, then you can use S3. You can store area amount of data, which can help in your performance. Then CloudWatch. Okay, monitoring our performance, how well we are doing. Use dashboard and alarm, etc. Then we have elastic cache. Team, like what is elastic cache? It's usually used to increase the performance of your database. So team, like elastic cache is nothing but, okay, I will show you what is elastic cache. Okay, what is elastic cache team? See, elastic cache is nothing but, okay, for example, this is your application, right? And here is your database. Now team, if your application wants to access database, right, and if you're having lots of request, what will happen? Your database performance will decrease, right? So team, what will happen now? What we are going to do? We are just going to include something in between that is called as elastic cache. And team, like elastic cache is nothing but it's not a replacement for anything. It's just an add-on layer, right? We're just adding a layer, and by the name you can see that it's time elastic cache. Okay, so what will happen? Like for the first request, we need to go for database, but like after some amount of when like cache is accumulated here, then all these requests will be served from elastic cache only. So this is elastic cache team. Okay, so team, now next thing we are having is next service we are having something called as CloudFront. Team, if you are going for CloudFront, what CloudFront do, I will tell you. It just catches your data around the edge locations, and it will decrease the latency, and it will increase your performance. Cool team. Then we have something called as global oscillator. This is also used for decreasing latency. Okay, but in this we are not catching anything. In this we will be using AWS internal infrastructure to just bring requests from the user to the AWS cloud, right? Our cloud platform. Now, team, we are having something called as fifth pillar, that is cost optimization. Okay, team, right? Now, team, like what is it? First of all, like it includes the ability to run system to deliver business value at the lowest price point. And I know that for each and everyone, like cost is really, really, really important, right? So, team, like we are having like design principles. So first one is adopt a consumption mode. Okay, so like pay for only for what you use. Like for example, in S3, we have to only pay for the storage part that you are having, right? But in EBS volume, you have to provision and you have to pay whether you are using it or not. Okay, so let me show you like what I am telling you. Team, this is my S3 service, so don't worry about it, team. Like what is S3 service? Is the storage service, okay? So team, like here I really don't need to do anything. It's like my bucket. Bucket is in nothing but like a folder or container. It just used to do anything, okay? What I can do, team, I just need to upload things, okay? And if I am just having like 5 GB, 10 GB, or 15 GB or 100 GB, I need to pay for this only. But team, like if you're going for elastic block, like for EBS, so what happens, team? You just need to provision, right? So for example, this is my EBS volume, right? So team, here I will tell you, like if you're creating EBS volume, what will happen? Create volume. Now team, here you just need to like provision, like what amount of data you are provisioning. So team, if you're just provisioning 100 GB and you are using only 10 GB, then team, you have to pay for all these things. Cool team. Now team, like measures all efficiency. Okay, like we use config all these kind of tools, like for our like we are just using all these things like CloudWatch, all this type and to think for right type and size of resources. Then team, like stop spending money on data center operation. It means that don't use like on-premises things. Okay, so like if you want to for cost optimization, you can easily go for like cloud, and in cloud you can easily leverage their infrastructure, and you just need to focus on your application, right? You just need to use things what you want. You just pay for that thing only. You just need to pay on spend money on data center operations. Cool team. Then team, we have like analyze and attribute expenditure, like accurate identification of system uses cost and get ROI based on how much money you generate from business, right? So you just need to check like what you have got or on return on investment, right? So what you have got, like how much money you have generated from your business, right? Then like some services, okay, that is like AWS budget. So team, you can create a budget so that you don't exceed like what is your monthly cost, like monthly budget you are having. So from where you can create your budget. So you can create budget from here, like billing dashboard, team. Just click here. Then team, what you need to do, you just need to click here, okay, in budgets. Okay, team, you can easily create budget from here, and whenever like see, once you create a budget, AWS allow you to forecast the spend, take actions on your budget. Team, like if you have mentioned a budget, and if you wants to just like AWS notify you, you just need to mention an email and AWS will notify you, right? Cool team, right? Then team, like we are having some services, okay? All these things we have discussed, right? Then we have like AWS cost and usage report, so you can just see all these things in a graphical method. Then we have spot instances. Team, like spot instances are really cheap, okay? So like spot, let me tell you what is instances. Spot instances are team like AWS have a massive infrastructure, right? So if that infrastructure is not getting used, what they do, they just uh, put demand like very less demand, like put like very cheap cost for that thing. But after some time, like if the demand increases, they have like they will increase the uh, cost for it, and you have to pay for it if you want to use, otherwise these things will be terminated. So it's spot instances like a bidding, you are just bidding like this time these things are like in a really cheap prices, you can just go for it, right? Then we have reserved instances team, like it's a great way to save money now team. If you know that you are running a production environment like 24/7, so you can go for reserved instances. Cool team. Then we have S3 Glacier. So S3 Glacier is just used for backing up your data. You just need to put all these things in your account. Like you can put all your things that you really you are just going hardly going to use, okay? Or you just want to put these things for like longer period of time, like 7 years, 10 years. Then you can put all these things as Glacier and you have to pay very less. Cool team. Then team, you can use auto scaling. Like team, auto scaling will help you a lot. Like in auto scaling, there will be three things like desired, minimum, and maximum. So team, in desired, you can just mention that in a normal condition, my two servers should be running, a minimum one should be running, and maximum five, right? So when auto scaling, like you when normal days you are not having much traffic, like you will be having less what we say, your two servers will only be running, and team, what will happen, you have to pay less, right? Then team, you are having maximum, like before, like after 4 5 server they won't be creating any server, right? So you need to change that. Then team, like this is my last pillar, that is sustainability. This is the new pillar. So this pillar focus on minimizing the environment impact of running cloud workloads, okay? So team, the design principles are really simple. Like so idea here is that to understand your impact for this establish performance indicators, like evaluate improvement, establish sustainable goals, like you need to mention like long-term goals for each workload. Then you can just use maximum utilization of your services because you want to be energy efficient, right? So why we are going for sustainability? Because you want to be energy efficient, right? And obviously be environment conscious. Then use managed services, like you can go for like managed services. Then you have to like you are just reducing the amount of infrastructure you are using, right? You are just using this shared infrastructure. Cool team. Then team, you can anticipate and adopt new or more efficient hardware and software offerings and design for flexibility and new technologies. For autos, like for sustainability, we are having the same services like EC2 auto scaling, serverless Lambda, S3 life cycle management, all these kind of things. Team, like finally, I am having like certifications. So we are having like these kind of certification. Okay, so these are the certification we are having right now. So this is the basic one. Okay, cloud practitioner. So if you are a manager, or if you wants to have overview, or if you are newbie, or you can go for like cloud practitioner if you wants to start your journey with AWS. Then we have like three types of, like in a second level we are having something called as associate level. In this we are having three. So if you are like these two are similar, right? In this we are learning in a deeper way. We just used to learn services. In solution architect, you just need to focus on providing solutions, and so sysop administrator is just implementing that solution. Team, like both of these are really similar, but there are like some topics are little bit different. If you want to get developer services, you can go for developer. Then team, like this service is like professional. It means that like if you want to learn, like if you are learning something say like around what we say Like if you are learning things, like if you are learning some service like kinesis, so you need to learn this service in much more deeper in professional. So the difference only thing that things you are learning in like architect associate, you need to learn these things in much more deeper way. Team, if you want to go for like complete CI/CD pipeline and all these things, you can go for DevOps. And team, this is like specialty. These are like bit tough. The reason is that team, because they focus on certain set of things, right? So team, like this is all about